Yeah. Oh, my vibe on your mind. Oh, my throat on your mind. Him no make you happy. No. Him no make you feel like I do. They both turning my way. Yeah. I can feel you warming up to me. Oh, think I got a shot like a free throw. Right up in the game with no cheat code. Girl, you took my heart like a repo. Oh, all these other girls not even close. Something's telling me that she knows. Oh, stuck in my mind, things I would do for you. Stuck in my mind, long nights thinking of you. Stuck in my mind. Oh, my vibe on your mind. Stuck in my mind. Oh, my throat on your mind. Did not see you last week. Told me you will make it up to me. Just wanted you closer.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Electric feel when you brush up on me. Oh, think I got a shot like a free throw. Right up in the
We back.
Girl, you took my heart like a repo. Oh, all these other girls not even close. Something's telling me that she
Missed y'all.
stuck in my mind. Things I would do for you. Stuck in my mind. Long nights thinking
Let me get some
of you. Stuck in my mind.
Alright, this track right here gets my vibes right, gets my energy right. What is going on? And we back. Let me kill this a little bit. Welcome to the PYM live show. It's your boy Kelvin. I'm having a lot of fun. We had to disappear for a bit, but I am back with another episode. It is so good. I think I have everything set up. We should be live on Twitch. We should be live on YouTube. We are about to be live on TikTok. Give it time. Give it time. We're gonna be live on TikTok soon coming. But it is so good to see your beautiful faces once again. You know what I'm saying? Let me kill the music a little bit. But yeah, man, my name is Kelvin. This is the PYM live show. where every day we're just talking about the mental, the mind, and how to keep it strong, how to keep it tight, how to keep it covered, how to keep it secure. I might rant a little bit, might rave a little bit, but in all, my hope is that as we keep fighting off the darkness that tries to consume our minds, all that's left over has to be light. If you're first time seeing my face, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow on for too long, might be for me 45 minutes to an hour max. But yeah, man, it is so good to see beautiful faces once again. Let me kill the music. You know what I'm saying? As I always promise y'all, every time I touch this stream, I promise y'all I will get better. You know what I'm saying? I will get better. You know what I'm saying? You see the lights? I got the lights are busting right now. I don't know what I'm saying. I got the pink and the purple. I got the, you know what I'm saying, the backlights. I hope the sound is blessed. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope the sound is blessed. Hope you hear me, hearing me well. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I said, what did I tell y'all? I told y'all every day I'm gonna get better. You know what I'm saying? Every day I'm getting better. Every day what? Ha! What? Is that applause? Do you hear it? Do you hear it? Come on. Round of applause for Kelvin again. Round of applause for Kelvin again. We got sounds, you know what I'm saying? Come on. I'm saying I'm having fun. You know what I'm saying? Drop it on y'all. You know what I'm saying? I got soundboard. I'm playing with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like I said, I promise y'all, I'm getting better every single day. You know what I'm saying? So if you hear just random sounds popping up, you know what I'm saying? Don't ask me any stupid questions. I mean, I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? We're getting better. I'm actually geeking out a little bit on this tech. But let me get straight to it. What's going on, y'all? If there's anybody in the chat rocking with me, let me know how's your day been, how's your week been. My week has been phenomenal. When I first started this stream and the different pages, my first video was I just got fired, and that was a big thing. You know what I'm saying? But successfully, I've gone through my first week at my new company. You know what I'm saying? It was just about a month turnover. You know what I'm saying? Hey, God is good. What can I say? Blessings on blessings. You know what I'm saying? I'm working with the HR solutions company as a commercial director over there. So, you know what I'm saying? A lot of training going on and stuff like that. So I've been a little bit busy managing that. But hey, it's funny. First thing, y'all saw me real time managing a real life fire in real life. Don't know what I'm about to do next in terms of my professional career, but at the end of it, I wanted to keep y'all updated and kind of provide some kind of mental tips and tricks that helped me through it. So yeah, you know what I'm saying, it's been fun. So that's a bit about my week. I hope your week's been blessed. I hope you guys are in good energy and good health. It's this channel. If it's your first time seeing my face, I always say this channel we are focused on is growth. It is security, and it is structuring the mind for improvement every single day, and different mental health tips and tricks that can help us get there. You know what I mean? I might geek out. I might geek out a little bit on this soundboard, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, I just want to help. You know what I'm saying? That's all we want to do is provide help to you if you're watching this wherever you watch it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, jumping right into the topic of today's rant, I wanted to talk a bit about self-identity. You know what I'm saying? Self-identity. What does that mean? What am I saying? Big word. You know what I'm saying? Big brothel. I'm gonna abuse this thing. I'm sorry. I'm gonna abuse this thing. But we're talking about self-identity. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like a big word. Okay, I will stop. But I wanted to talk a little bit about it. Talk a little bit how it helps the mind. Talk about why you should care about it, why it matters if you're a young person, you're an old person, a person in general. If you're living on planet Earth, I wanted to talk a little bit about it. Every time I pick up a topic, it might be a subtopic, might be a main topic, might be something I'm just thinking about. But self-identity, and why it's such a struggle, especially if you're a young person. That's kind of the nature of it. So if you clicked on the title, that's a bit about my rant. So a bit about Me. So I've lived in multiple countries, right? I've lived in multiple countries. By the time I was like 20, I lived in Ghana for up until I was 3. I moved to New York. Then I lived in the UK for a little bit. I lived in Canada Canada's my home now. So I've lived all over, right? And the one thing that I always try to do, and I don't know if you relate to this, but you know how like when you go to a new place, especially a young person, it's like a chance to reinvent yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, you know, you might go to a new school and be like, you know what? When I go here, I'm about to be the jock. I'm gonna be that jock that's, you know what I'm saying, that's giving it his all. I'm gonna be that friendly person. I'm gonna be that lover. I'm gonna be that you know, whatever it is that the high school wants or that school wants, that's gonna be me. You know what I'm saying? And you try so hard to really create a persona for your new location, right? And basically it becomes a whole project of trying to reinvent yourself according to any new set of circumstances. So in my story, you know, moving around a lot, I went for all kinds of persona. That one time I was trying to be, you know, that bad boy, you know what I'm saying? Don't care about the rules. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just, I'm a boss. I'm a don. I don't care if you say sit. I remember when I was at one of my my middle schools in Ghana. They said everybody sit down. You know what I'm saying? Just a simple on the first day sit down after morning assembly. I said I'm not gonna sit down straight. I'm gonna sit down on my knee. I'm gonna sit down Indian style on the desk. You know what I'm saying? Just cause mischief. And I'm like, yo, who is this guy? Who is this person that's kind of just acting weird? And you know what I'm saying? I thought like I was so cool because I was being the rebel. You know what I'm saying? But it actually didn't. It didn't actually do much for me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was one persona. At one time I was trying to be the class clown. I was trying to make everybody laugh. I was trying to be that guy who, you know, just always has that quick comeback. You know what I'm saying? The teacher said, well, this thing was built in 1922. I'd be the person running to say, well, you were old enough to see it. You know, I and get in trouble for no stupid reason. All right. And it was one part of my persona in high school, in middle schoolish, and then I tried to be the jock. You know, I started to realize, you know, I can play basketball. I got a nice handle, I got a nice shot, and back then I was a lot skinnier. So I'm like, you know what? Give me the rock, boom, I'm to the rim. That's it. That was me. I was fast. I was super fast when I was like 14, 15. So because I was fast and I could dribble fast, my thing was I'm going to the rim. I'm either going to the rim for the layup and I shoot my and1, or I'm dishing it out for my shooters. I could shoot a little bit, but I wasn't a shooter on my team back in middle school. So I wanted to be that jock, and I was consumed in it. You know what I'm saying? So 7th, 8th grade, I was trying to be that bad boy. 8th, 9th grade, I moved to a different 9th, 10th. 8th, 9th, 10th, I was trying to be the class clown. 10th and 11th, I was trying to be the jock, but then I capped out at 5'9", and I never grew an inch more than that. So, you know, my hoop dreams were kind of over. You know, but I could play the point. You know what I mean? I could play the point. I could find the pass, but my hoop dreams died with it. But all to say, I had different personas, different characters, and different roles, and I changed them according to my environment in the different countries I lived, right? So I don't know, but have you ever been in a situation where you are like you try and adapt yourself to the people you're talking to? I don't know, like that happens to me a lot. Where it happened to me a lot in those times where depending on who I'm talking to, I'm adapting my persona. I'm adapting who I am. I'm adapting the way I talk. Like if I was around the jock people, I'm all about sports. I'm all about practice. I'm all about focus. All the things talking about focus. If when I was around like my rebels, I'm all about the next party. I was all about the next link up, the next invite, the next mischief. You know what I'm saying? When I was a class clown, it was all about how can I get them to laugh next. And it was so revolving that I think I by the time I finished high school into middle school, I'm like, who the heck am I? And like, I don't know if you ever had a situation where you're asking yourself, like, what am I right now? And what is this person? Like, who the heck am I right now? You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting because when you get yourself in that circumstance, you can find yourself in a place where you start to, like, you know, doubt yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, who am I? What is this person? What do I offer? You know, you ask yourself all these kind of Batman movies. Who am I? You know? I'm sorry, I'm having too much fun with these soundboards. I'm having too much fun with it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you have that in the background and you feel like this is the intro of a main character of your life. Like, who are you? And I wanted to talk a bit about it because it's so interesting that for me personally, I asked myself, who am I, more times from age, I don't know, 15 to like age 22, 20, even 25 actually. I asked myself, who am I more in those years than I think I could humanly, I think I have in the past 5, like the speed at which I asked myself that was alarming, right? So I wanted to talk about that because it's so interesting how while you're growing and maturing, you want to know who you are so bad. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like a contradiction. You're changing every year. Your body's changing every year. Your mind is changing every year. Your education or your knowledge, not even education, your knowledge is changing every year. If you were 13, had that squeaky voice, you might, you know what I'm saying, it might get a little cracking and then it gets deep. You know what I'm saying? It starts to fill up. Your chest gets a little bigger. Your arms get a little bit bigger. Your beard starts to fall out. If you're a girl, you know, things start happening. Things start happening left and right. From age 13, you may not look the same. By the time age 18 comes around, you're a whole different person, right? Through biology and whatnot. So it's like a lot of things are changing. But it's always during those phases of serious change, we're always trying to stick to who we are and who we are at this moment, who we are at this time. Like, what is me? What is me and what is around me? And it's important to kind of really understand why self-identity matters when you're young. Now, I don't, like I said, I never have Merriam-Webster, you know what I'm saying, Merriam-Webster definitions. I just use my definitions of how I understand it, and you can take it. You know what I'm saying? Self-identity, whatever they call it on Merriam-Webster, you can Google it. But for me, self-identity is simply the understandings you keep of yourself at any given time. That is self-identity to me. I just said that on the fly. You know what I'm saying? I said that on the fly. But that's what it really means to me. Self-identity is the understandings you have for yourself at any given period of time. So for example, when I was in that class clown phase, I thought I was funny. So if I was to ask myself, what is a big part of my self-identity? And you asked me during that class clown phase, I would say I'm a funny guy. I'm a charming guy. I'm a charismatic guy. Anything that goes to trying to be a class clown, I would attach it to that, right? And when I was a jock, you know what I'm saying? I'm a dedicated guy. I'm a team player. I'm all these different things that you use to describe yourself. I'm focused. I you know what I'm saying? I'm an athlete. Like all these different things. So that was whatever I identified myself as at the time. So your self-identity is your understanding of your that you have and that you keep for yourself at any given period of time. And it's so interesting. It's so interesting. What's up, Mike? It's all good. Thanks for joining in. I got a mission, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? We trying to fight different things. But back on point, it's that self-identity, right? It changes over time, and when it changes with it, you every time it changes, you're struggling to kind of keep up with the change. And that was what happened to me. So like with that, I'm just like, no, if everything is changing and everything is moving at a rapid pace, I'm trying to hold on to the different phases and different things that I have and are holding on to as those things are changing. So I thought I wanted to talk about it. Because I don't know, like nowadays, it's like because we're exposed to so much and because we're exposed to so much stimulation, be it online, be it through, what we watch, what we, thanks, man, what we watch, what we consume, it's that, like we find ourselves like based on our activities identifying with those activities, right? So if you like to game, if you like to play video games a lot, you might call yourself a gamer. If you like to watch sports a lot, you might call yourself like a sports head. If you whatever you do a lot, you use to identify as self-identity. And I think that's kind of dangerous. A dangerous positioning nowadays because it's so easy to lose the sense of value in the things that we're doing. And then when we lose the sense of thing in the value we're doing, we attach like a loss of self with the loss of value. You know what I'm saying? Like if you love playing games and in the game you love playing is what you identify with and it no longer brings you value, what happens is that you might detach. Like it's like, if games is all I know and the games don't give me value anymore, then what am I now, right? And what am I now is one of those dangerous things that you keep asking yourself And as you ask yourself, when you don't have answers to what am I now, it like demoralizes you. And that's when like, depression can come in. That's when anxieties can come in. That's when PTSDs can come in. It's like, so many different things can come in just off the question of what am I now. I remember like, when I had a streak, when I was in my teenage years trying to talk to girls, and I'm like, nobody's trying to talk to me. Especially I had my group of friends, and like I said in the past stream, if there was like, we had a group of 5 friends back in high school, and if a girl was coming to talk to us, I was always thinking that they're coming to talk to my friends because nobody's coming to talk to me. So when I was asking myself like, what am I in that period where nobody was trying to talk to me, I just felt like I was a loser. Like I felt like that's it for me, because I can't talk to a girl in this stage, right? So whatever negative thing I could think of, because I couldn't do that one thing of talking to girls, and that was the thing I attached value to in high school. If I couldn't do it, then it just means I'm not, right? And that's a big thing around self-identity, is that as you're changing, and the things that you do, the things that you consume, the things that you inhale, if they start to shift, or they start to like, reprioritize, your identity struggles with it. And, off the top of my mind, like the importance of self-identity, right? The importance of self-identity to me is that when the world is telling you something, it's telling you are something. If you don't have a strong sense of self-identity, what happens is that you're easily swayed. You know what I mean? You're easily swayed. You're easily misconstrued. You're easily lost in sense of direction. I'm sorry, I'm gonna blow this thing up a whole bunch of times. But you're easily swayed. You're easily swayed. And it's so easy because there's a lot of people going to tell you what you are and what you aren't. But your self-identity, like I said, is your understanding that you keep of yourself. So if you don't have a strong sense of self-identity as you're growing and maturing, if you're easily swayed, the moment that thing doesn't give you the like expectation you want, it crushes you. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone else tells you you're meant to be this, or you're a baller, you're an athlete, and you don't actually believe that you're an athlete in yourself, the moment the athlete's path does not work out for you, that's a chance for demoralization. That's a chance for things to go left. Right? And it's like, or if someone tells you, you're meant to be this, or you're meant to be that, you're meant to be this, or you're meant to be that. And when you're easily swayed, when it doesn't work out, you're demoralized. And especially when you're growing up, right? I feel like one of the biggest sources that kind of combat your self-identity is your parents, right? Your parents are something that like can help build or destroy your self-identity, because parents, number one, can have like expectations, right? And they can have goals and wishes and aspirations. And then the funny thing is that they can like link those aspirations to your identity, if that makes sense, because they want you to be a doctor, right? Or they want you to be a lawyer or an engineer, if you heard it a bajillion times, if you live like in an African household like I did, is that they start to tell you, you are supposed to be doing this. You know what I'm saying? Calvin, you are a doctor. Don't act like this. You are meant to be this, and you are this, and you are that. You know what I'm saying? And because those are the goals and aspirations they have, if you start to realize that, I can't get a lick of math and science, it demoralizes you, bro. And like, it's funny because and this is a side note, and again, I'm a ranter, so I always say, as I'm ranting, take what you will from the rant, right? So I'm a ranter, right? So talking on self-identity, I was watching this documentary, right? And a documentary, I don't know if you watched it, it's like it's about the scam. This guy who was like a college admission scam guy. It's on Netflix, bro. Blew my mind. Basically, his whole thing was that he helps rich parents get their kids into university. So he will organize the SAT for you. He will organize a backdoor to like some sports thing for you. And he was getting so many clients of parents trying to pay to get their kids into all these like Stanford, Yale, Harvard crap, right? And the funny thing is, when the kids found out that they were not going to those schools, they were crushed. They were demoralized. They felt like their lives were over. Why? Because they had been built on the self-identity that they had to get into Harvard. Like that was what their parents had shaped into them, that you're going to go to Harvard. You need to go to Harvard. If you don't go to Harvard, you're a failure, right? They force that perception on them. And I'm seeing these kids ball. I'm seeing these kids lose their minds. I'm seeing these kids go through like all kinds of depression just because their parents had a specific college that they wanted to go to. I'm just like, huh?
It doesn't make sense.
Like, what kind of foolishness is this? Life changes so much. So why should we be fixed on someone else's expectation of us as we're growing and then force that to be what we identify as? So self-identity is key, because again, if you don't know what you are actually about and learn that, you're easily swayed, like I said. And then 2, the reason why you need to have a good sense of self-identity as you are growing up, if you're a young person, is that your self-identity becomes your biggest like source of confidence. You know what I mean? Like your source of strength. As I always say on this channel, the PYM militia, the PYM gang, understand the world is fighting you. Period. Point blank. The world is not in the business of your happiness. The world is in the business of your misery. Period. You know what I'm saying? Let me drop a bomb on that. It's in the business of your misery, right? So if you don't have a strong sense of self, though, like the things outside will just continue to eat and eat and eat and eat at you till there's nothing left, right? And I always, like I said last time on stream, like I never understand the people who think it's humble to like diss yourself, like, oh, dumb old me, I can't get it, or stupid me, that never makes sense to me. Like I always say there is no humility in putting yourself down. The world does a good enough job of putting you down. So why give it more effort? You know what I'm saying? Putting yourself down doesn't make the world give you more strength. They just kind of add to it. It's like if I bash myself, if I start to bash myself, whoever's in the chat is most likely just gonna bash with me. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. So the world is always fighting who you are, and and it's not to be obnoxious with it, like, oh, I'm so happy-go-lucky, but self-identity is that well of confidence that like helps you combat that to whatever goal you're chasing. So if you have whatever aspirations you have, like big or small, if your aspiration is just to finish school, your self-identity is that confidence that, hey, I might not understand everything right now, but if I put the time and energy in, I know I'll get it, because I'm someone who can if I put the time in, I'll understand. That's proven. Like you don't say it as like a bravado. Like you don't say that as like a what's the word? Big brothel. Big English is not coming to me. You don't say that as like a trying to blow someone off, but you say that as just like a reminder to yourself. Right? If your goal is school, if your goal is, what you want to be, I don't know, financially savvy by a certain age, your self-identity gives you that confidence that, hey, you know what? If I get a plan together that can be proven successful and I work it and I'm disciplined to it, I think I can achieve it. That's self-identity. You know what I'm saying? Like, self-identity is that thing that, this girl rejected me. That's her loss. I know I'm a good catch because I try my best to be respectful, understanding, and loving. If relationship is a goal that you have, if relationship is not a goal that you have, don't waste your time. But if a relationship, a solid relationship, is a goal that you have, that's one thing you can say from your self-identity. If you're a girl and you're saying, you know what, this guy, like, self-identity is that thing that I'm not gonna accept any subpar relationship, because at the end of the day, I feel like, I am a understanding and nurturing and respectful person. So I want to feel the same from whom I'm with. That's a good sense of self-identity, right? Self-identity is that understanding you keep for yourself, right? So if you don't keep a good sense of self-identity, you're always going to be questioning everything that happens to you. And I feel like the worst place to be is not sad. The worst place to be is not angry. The worst place to be is lost. You know what I'm saying? If you lost is the scariest place to be as a young person, because one, if you feel lost is all you see. You know what I mean? Like if you feel you know what I'm saying? If you feel lost is all you see. Like it's sort of like if you feel like you're just on the sea and you're just like going with the waves and you're stranded out at sea, all you see is water, all you see is sun, all you see is just birds, whatever's in the ocean. Right? So it becomes your main focus when you're lost. When you're lost, it makes you waste so much time, right? So much time is wasted when you're lost. There's a time lapse. Like if you start on a productive path, then you get lost, you can't continue on that path. You know what I'm saying? You have to first get out of the phase of loss and then continue the path you're on, right? So like time is wasted when you're lost. And then two, you feel like, like you feel the most lonely when you're lost because nobody's connecting, nobody's understanding you, right? But how can someone understand you in a state where you don't understand yourself? Like, I don't think that's, you know what I'm saying? Let me drop a bomb on that. I missed a bomb. I just got this soundboard and I'm gonna have fun with it. Like, how can you understand? How can you expect people to understand you when you don't understand yourself? You know what I mean? One thing we say PYM, the PYM list we're always gonna say is no one cares about you more than you. Maybe your mom can, because she's the only person, scientifically able to, because she birthed you. But other than her, I think like no one else that other than you is can care or have that level of care that you have, right? So if you feel lost, of course you might feel lonely because there's no connection. Because if you don't understand yourself, again, who can understand you, right? So that's 3 of being lost, right? So being lost is a state you want to avoid in your self-identity, right? And then lastly, and I don't want to keep the rant going too long. Lastly, when it comes to your self-identity, right? And if you're struggling with it, I think it's important. And I'm gonna talk about how to build a good self-identity and some of the tips and tricks I've learned from it. And I wanna hear from y'all too, because again, we grow by learning together. The last thing I feel like why it's important to have a good sense of self-identity is because it helps kind of shape a lot of areas of you. It helps shape your conversations. It helps shape your aspirations. It helps shape your love life, your relationship life, your family life. Your self-identity kind of sinks itself into every part of the world of you, right? If you call it that. So if you don't have like a good sense of self, like it's hard to have everything else functioning. You know, it's just, you know, like I remember, you know, a time back in university, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give a time in university where like I had the most classes I've ever had. You know, I felt like I had like 6-7 classes. I was working. I had a relationship. I was by myself in the city. No family around me, but I had a good number of friends. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you a nostalgia back. I had a good amount of friends. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, yo, I'm juggling so much. I'm doing so much. And I felt at that time that nobody knew who I was, bro. Nobody was actually caring for Kelvin. No one was making sure that I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yo, I'm taking the tears, I'm taking the licks, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to be tough on it. But I don't really know who I am. I don't really know what I'm saying, and I'm doing so much. And at that time, I was flunking all the classes. Bills were coming up. My girl was pissing me off. Family was pissing me off. And Charlie, I'm suffering. Charlie. So I'm like, what do I do? And I just got to this place that it took me like, yo, nobody know. Like, I have to figure out who I am at this point in time. And then once I figure that out, everything will be straight. Right? You know, a bit of a sob story. Everything will be straight. So it seeps into all these different things, right? So I've spoken about that. And if I'm not making sense, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Say, Kelvin, what are you saying? I'll break it down. If it's just a rant, I'll move on, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And you can give your inputs if it's making sense. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? I want to know if I'm making sense or not. If I'm just ranting. Like I said, take from the rant what you will, right? But all these things are a byproduct of self-identity. And not having a good sense of self-identity, again, messes with the mind, right? So I'm going to talk about how I figured out my own sense of self-identity, and, you know, little notes I kind of wrote to myself in understanding that. So first thing that I kind of understood, especially this was like maybe age 23, 24. Like I said, I'm a grown young man. As I describe myself, I'm a grown young man. 23, 24, I really decided, like, for like, you know, New Year's resolutions, that I'm going to not set like a fitness goal or a financial goal, but I'm just, my only goal I think I had from like my 24th birthday was figuring out who the heck Kelvin is. Like, who is he, what's he about, and like who is he at this time. So the first thing I did was understand that my self-identity, like I had to come to a point of understanding that my self-identity changes with one, the times, and two, the circumstances, right? At the time, I was finishing university. I think I just got a job offer out of school, but I had a lot of debts and I was struggling to pay rent. So that was my self-identity at age 24, right? And it took me a while to accept that, right? I had to accept the circumstances, and I had to accept how I was moving in those circumstances. So at the time of 24, you know what I'm saying? I'm struggling to find a job. I'm anxious because I'm worried about my landlord kind of closing the door on me and kicking me out of the house. And at the same time, I'm trying to figure out how I get rid of all these debts. So that was my circumstance, and my self-identity was someone who was really just anxious. I was someone who was trying to be careful in planning, but I was someone who was trying to be hopeful at the time, right? So my circumstances was that. So understanding, you must understand in building your self-identity that circumstances and times are a big factor of your self-identity, and never feel like your self-identity has to be static. So if you found yourself that maybe during an earlier stage in time, you were this joyful, bouncy person, you know what I mean? Like you had, different friends, and you were always going out, you were always like social, and that was you. You don't need to feel that because that's not you at this time, that you've changed or things are gone weary. Maybe the circumstances just don't dictate that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't put on a sweater. You know what I'm saying? You can't put on a sweater in a 200-degree room. You know what I'm saying? The same way you can't wear a hoodie, or you can't wear you can't be bare-chested in a minus 50-degree room. The circumstances dictates how you act, right? So if you find yourself in kind of dictating circumstances that make you need to be a little bit somber and a little bit more reserved, it's not that you switched up and now that person is lost. It's just that your self-identity at that time is someone who needs to be reserved for the circumstances, right? I think self-identity is always evolving. Self-identity is always changing. People always say, I'm not the same person I was yesterday. But most of the time they equate that to like their knowledge. But I think it's cool to go beyond that. It's not just your knowledge, it's also your circumstances that make you not the same. Just the time that makes you not the same. Your environment makes you not the same. The people you interact with make you not the same. So in that, understanding that, what's around me dictates my self-identity. So don't feel and don't feel the need to try and hold on to a past identity. Like, don't feel the need to hold on to like, I miss the old me. People say that all the time. I miss the old me. I miss the way I need to do things. What if the old you couldn't handle today's circumstances? You know what I'm saying? What if the old you couldn't handle today's wahala? What if the old you couldn't handle the friends that you have today? I mean, come on. Like, imagine a situation where, like, what if your old friends can't handle the new you? I feel like one of those, hey, tell them, girl. What if your old friends can't handle the new you, right? So it's like, as you're constantly changing, you don't need to hold on to old circumstances because you adapted to the times. So that's one thing. 2, understand that your self-identity is different than the expectations that you set for yourself. I'm going to say it again. Understand that your self-identity is different from your self-expectations. The self-expectations are basically the demands you put on yourself for a specific outcome. That's like, okay, for example, you say, by the time I'm 25, I need to see A, B, C, D. That's an expectation. That is a goal. Now, it's based on based on different factors, that expectation may or may not become a reality. That's an expectation. Like I said, your self-identity is the understanding you keep for yourself at a specific period in time. So your understanding is internal. Expectation is external. You see what I mean? So if you confuse the two and you link an external situation to the internal you, when you don't get that external situation, what happens? You feel like, yo, I'm a fraud. I'm a phony. Like, why isn't it happening to me? Right? So that's what, like, that's one easy element of building that. Like, you need to understand that, like, yo, I told myself, what is one thing I told myself? I told myself, like, by a certain age, like, I'm gonna live on an island. I told myself I'm gonna live on an island by a certain age, right? And like I said, like, I'm just gonna live on an island. This is like, my emo years. You know what I'm saying? My emo years where I'm like, yo, bun everybody, bun the world. This is like, like I said, I was trying to be an athlete, but I capped out at 5'9". I'm like, yo, bun everybody, bun the world. I'm gonna live on an island by the time I'm 25. Just like that. I'm gonna live on an island by the time I'm 25, right? Just me, my girl, and then me pushing. Please, I am 28 and the island has not come. The island has not come, Charlie. But I'm here, right? So that was an expectation I set of myself at age 18. Now, if I was to hold on to that expectation and by 25 it didn't come, I'm breaking down, right? Because the reality isn't here. And I feel like because when you're young, when we're young, let me not say it like that. When we're in our young phase, we dream the most. I feel like you dream the most when you're young. Like, you have the most imagination when you're young. But then what happens is that realities may be set to sink in. And because the dreams may not match the realities, it starts to kind of crumble your sense of self, right? Now, like I said, based on your understanding of you, you may make that a reality. If you say you want to be, like I said, I'm getting better as a streamer. You know what I'm saying? I got the, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm getting better. I got the soundboard, you know what I'm saying? I get better every day. Just clap it up for me. Clap it up for me. Thank you very much. I get better every day as a streamer. But if you say, you know what, I want to be one of the best streamers in my country at a specific game, and then you start doing it, but you don't have the understanding of you may realize that, you know what, I am heavily swayed by maybe negative comments. So whenever I get a negative comment, I don't want to stream. Now that may be difficult to keep streaming because odds are comments are going to come at you and throw shots at you however which way. You know what I mean? So if that understanding of you doesn't match the expectation of being a streamer, you might fail. I'm just saying. Another example, you may have a situation that, you know what, I'm 19 right now. In 5 years, I'm gonna have 6 figures in my bank account. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to have 6 figures. Everybody wants to have, like, that's just the reality that they may have. But Charlie, if you do not work your ass off, if you are not disciplined, if you do not have a plan, if you do not have a tangible product, a tangible service, tangible value to offer people, how then do you achieve it, Charlie? Even if you want to be a content creator, you gotta be somewhat funny or insightful or helpful or beneficial. You know what I mean? If you want to, like, you have to have an understanding of that. And you have to be as disciplined as hell. You have to be determined as hell. You have to be passionate as hell. Because it may take you years, right? Your time expectation may have to change, right? That's external versus internal, right? So understanding that, right, is that it's an internal thing that motivates the external. You never sway, you never falter. You know what I mean? So one is to, disconnect the two. Like I said, I'm a ranter. Disconnect the two. Disconnect external expectations versus your internal understanding. That's my last point. That's my last point. My last point, and I'm gonna finish the rant. I've been ranting for a long time. My last point, simple tip of ways to build your self-identity, or tips to build your self-identity. Last point, number 3, is you must always, always do a review of who you are. I'm going to say it again. Always take stock of who you are. All that simply means and how to do that is, maybe January is a good time. I like to do that December or November at the end of the year, as opposed to the top of the year. Go for a drive if you have a car. Go to a park. Go to wherever and just ask yourself, like, who am I? What happened to me in this year, or what happened to me during this period, and how have I become? That's it. Like, I believe like just taking periodic like checks of yourself is so key, because nobody's gonna be checking. Like, people always say, how are you, or how you doing, and it's just like a nonchalant, I'm good, I'm blessed, I'm chilling, whatever the case may be. But if you don't ask yourself, like, or asking yourself how are you, is a big difference. It's a big difference. It's a big it's a big difference. Ask yourself, how are you? What happened? Did you have this maybe a major life event? Did you maybe experience a loss? Was there a struggle? Did you face hardship? Did you face it like a heartbreak emotionally? Did you face struggle financially? Did you get what were your wins? What were your W's? What were your L's? What was tough? Did you what happened to you? Did you lose a friend? Did you and your family dynamic with your family change? Are you still like, maybe you and your mom, the relationship changed? Did it build? Did it get better? Did it stay the same? Or you and your father, did it build? Did it get better? Did it stay the same? Your siblings, did they pull back? Like you can ask yourself a whole bunch of questions, but it's like, take 30 minutes, take an hour, and figure out who I am at this time. Do that internal review, because every time you do that internal review, guess what? Your brain starts to produce answers for you, and those answers kind of help build on that self-identity. Like one thing I did was that, like, I realized that I maybe so I only, like, this is one thing I literally did, maybe I did last year. I said for 2022 and 2023, I only want to share something that I think is valuable. I don't want to share foolishness. Like, you know what I'm saying? Every time I open my mouth to talk to someone, I only want to offer something that is valuable, because I believe that, Charlie, there's too much talk. There is too much talk. There's too much chatter. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not the most entertaining guy. I'm not the most comedic guy. So I'm like, you know what? Anytime I talk to someone, I hope that I can add them value. It doesn't have to be anything substantial or grandiose, like I'm some know all, I know everything. No, but it's like, if I know, I know. If I don't know, Masa, don't ask me any stupid questions. That's all I'm saying. If I don't know, don't ask me stupid questions, bro. Like, that's it. So that was something that I found on an internal review. A second thing, and I have notes of it, and I can show. Like, a second thing that I had is that, you know what, I've come to the place where I understand that I'm a good communicator. So I'm gonna try to leverage that. And what I mean by leveraging that is not just maybe for like a stream purpose, but I said I'm going to leverage that for like my relationships, leverage it for my career, leverage it for my professional life, leverage it for my business life, like whatever I can do that is in the interest of communicating and communicating effectively. I'm going to try to, take advantage of that and recognize that as a strength. A weakness I realized, or something that I said 2022 I did not do a good job of, is just taking a to-do list. And I said, you know what? Now, like me and Alexa, we're best friends. Alexa has my whole calendar. She has all my alarms, and she tells me exactly what it's for. So based on her alarms, it's what I'm gonna do at the time, right? So that's one thing I did on the internal review. Right. So those internal reviews are not to throw shots or throw shades, but it's just a means for you to let your brain give you answers to the questions of, how do I get better? What did I do good? What did I do bad? What did I struggle with? What happened to me in this period of time? And where am I now? Those are the main questions you ask yourself. But, that is my rant on self-identity. I hope it benefited someone, but again, I want to learn from y'all. Like, what would you describe self-identity as? What would you, do you think it's important, and how did you build it? Do you think you have a good sense of self-identity? Do you think you have a bad sense of self-identity? what shaped it. Like there's so much online, there's so much stuff we consume and we hear, on social media platforms or online platforms, and it shapes us a lot. So in whatever you consumed on your socials and through your everyday life, like who are you now, and what do you understand as self-identity? Like I believe that I may not have all the answers, but you may have some answers. Someone else may have some answers. And if we share everything we have in this, our brains, hopefully we can get a consensus of what makes sense. You know what I mean? So, that's my rant for today's show. I hope it benefited someone. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe. You're on Twitch. At PYM Official. We are live on YouTube at PYM Live. We will be live on TikTok soon. You know what I'm saying? Soon time. You know what I mean? But like I said, I hope you guys are enjoying the lights and the little things that are making the you know what I mean? The show better. Like I said, I'm getting better, man. I'm getting better. Trust and belief. Trust it. Do you hear that applause? Do you hear it? Come on, man. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna play all these different sound clips at different times. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I every time I touch the show, I want to get better. I want to improve. So let me know if something sounds off, if my voice is bad, if the lighting sucks, if you say, Kelvin, you're making too much noise on the soundboard. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? I'm open for critique. You can't hurt my feelings. I promise you can. But I hope I hope it benefited y'all. I will be back on Sunday. Exactly at 15 minutes. Okay, so I will be back on Sunday at 9:30. Where we're talking about, different things that help form the mind, different everyday events that I think are beneficial to just take stock of and trying to get some tips from. And there's different things I have in store. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I am not an expert. I refuse to be. I ain't no mental health expert. I ain't no therapist. I ain't anything of that. But what my goal is for this channel is that once we build a big enough community, I'm actually going to invite some therapists and invite some professors and invite some people who are experts on all things mental. And we're going to ask them questions. Like I said, y'all going to hear this question 100 times. And I promise you, I'm going to ask like some kind of PhD holder of psychology. I'm going to ask him this question like, why is it that every time I get a bill, an envelope of a bill, why is it that my chest starts beating? What anxiety is that? And why is it linked to my brain? I want you to explain to me scientifically, why does that happen? You know what I mean? I want them to explain everyday situations to me. You know what I mean? Or why is it that, whenever I see my friend do for a split second, I feel a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like I need to do well as well. Like what is that? Why does it exist? Why does our brain produce that? Like questions like that, man, because we want answers. We want answers. You know what I'm saying? We will get answers. But that's a goal of this channel. We have so much in store. So I hope you enjoyed the show. One thing that I will say every time I come on this stream is I wish you perfect health. You who's watching right now, you's looking at my face, this man's face, right? I'm wishing you perfect health. I'm wishing you perfect wealth. I'm wishing you perfect love. I'm wishing you perfect self-expression in everything that you do. I'm hoping that your mind is secure and that it is growing every single day. All right. I appreciate y'all for watching. Leave comments below. Let me know how the show was. Let me know if what I'm saying makes sense. Let me know whatever. Let me know how you're feeling, if it's something that resonates with you. But beyond everything else, must happy yourself. Happy yourself. Because if you don't happy yourself, who happy? I'm gonna have so many sound clips. I'm gonna have so many sound clips. I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm geeking out on my soundboard. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to say. I'm just having fun. I'm having fun. So I'm sorry. I apologize, but I don't at the same time. But yeah, I will see you guys next week. No, I'll see you guys Sunday. Sunday 9:30 sharp. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 9:35, maybe 9:30, 9:35, depending on the timings. But yeah, man. Y'all guys have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your night. Yeah, and we are gone. Peace.
Yeah.